What is going on, everybody? Back again, and today I wanted to go over some sort of like a loot filter, but for leveling up an early game and how you kind of want to structure it early on, whether it's your first character or your 20th character. I guess maybe if it's your 20th character, you probably already have an idea of what you want to do. But you get the point. Basically, and I just made one to kind of give myself an idea of how I wanted to do it. So if you can get a brief, but I'm gonna make it again so that you can see. It doesn't really matter what any of that is. You can add these. That just adds the little, color and icon. But so the first thing that I want to do right out the gate is I'm gonna hide invisibility. That's you can hide, you can show, or you can recolor. We're gonna hide. We're going to go to rarity, normal items, and then add that. Just right out the gate, that's the baseline. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to recolor. And now as far as like colors, it doesn't really matter what color you do, but if you want your uniques, your set drops, and your exalted items to have their color and not have to worry about competing with those ones, then just avoid those colors. I generally will do like some of the yellows or just like just the weird off colors and stuff, reds and blues, for all the colors that I do. But for the first one, you're going to recolor, and then this is going to be my damage type. So yours might be different depending on what character you're on. You're going to want to like look at the abilities you're using, and I mean, I can't speak for every class and every character, but ideally your abilities have a good amount of overlap on what's scaling them, because if it doesn't, then you're going to be, unless it's like a bunch of utilities and one ability that's doing all your damage, then that's different, but you probably do want some overlap in what your abilities have scaling-wise. But for mine, it's necrotic, spell, and damage over time are basically the three overlaps that I'm looking for. So I'm going to do exactly that. We're going to go into affix. We're going to do general damage over time. And you can search it if I just know where it is. That's why I'm not searching it. Necrotic damage and spell damage. And then I'm going to confirm that. And so for the tier, it depends on where you are. But I would say start out with these set to tier 1. And then get those items and get pieces with those items, and then as you get one, like literally once you get one or two and you have an item or whatever and you're like kind of set, then bump it up to T2. But to start, I would set it to T1 and leave it at that, so that you can see, when you literally only have a white wand equipped or whatever you have equipped, your base item that you start with, you'll want to just see even the T1s. So I would set the damage types to T1 to start, and then you can just, once it's added, you can just open it up, change it to T2 when you want to change it to T2, and that's it, and then eventually T3 and on up. Then the other rule that I add is for resistances and kind of health and stuff. Rule of thumb so far is that resistance is more important than life, because you have a few reses to cap, and all the life and resistances are on your suffixes, which you only get 2 of. So early on, you might only have a piece or 2 with life, and most of them have a double res roll or something. So, but yeah, so we go into health. I'm just going to check all 3, even though the likelihood that you get these 2 is probably low. It's probably just going to be added health early on. And then we're going to go into resistance and armor, and I'm avoiding all of the armor, and I'm just getting the reses, the ones that like will actually show, like that's not going to really show up early on, and I'm not getting endurance early on. Confirm, and for this we're going to recolor this to that color. Doesn't really matter what you choose for the color. And then for the tier, this one I would recommend just popping it to T2 right away. Well, I guess if you're like level 1, like just in the first map and you're making this, set it to T1 to start. But once you're even, you've made it to council chambers, like this one can go to T2 even sooner than the damage one can. Because resistance fragments are much more common um, than some of the like damage ones. Like you'll see that like all the reses are like I have like 50 of them, or some of them I've used a few more and I'm down, on a few of them, but like I haven't used throwing attack damage at all, and I only have 30 of them. So that gives you a vibe of that. Like some of them are just more common than others, and there is a little bit of RNG to which ones you get, obviously. But then that's the thing is once you're sorting T2 and above, I wouldn't do it on T1s really, but on like T2 rolls and above, you can use your fractures, which I would early on. I would be. I think it's a good idea to. I mean, even all throughout the game, you're probably going to be doing it a lot. Actually, is buying a rune of Shatterings off of the vendor, because the vendor respawns, or like the shop resets every 10 minutes, and you can buy runes of Shattering, which if you shatter something that you shatter it, then you get some number of the mods. I actually just got like one for every single tier on that item. That was interesting. But yeah, so that, and then so you could get, if you set your damage types to T2 and you already have a T2, if you're playing the same thing as me and you already have a T2 damage over time, necrotic damage roll, right? And it's not, I mean, mine's T3 now, but say for instance for mine, I'm actually on my own actual loot filter, I'm sorting by T3 and I get another T3 necrotic damage, then I can shatter that, and that gives me more mods to craft later on and gives me more opportunity to craft something that's going to be an upgrade for me. So yeah, that is going to be the gist of it. The generic, you're going to start generic with just a damage type and a defensive, and then hide normal. I wouldn't worry about hiding anything else, because if you do hide all items to start, then you actually have to add in you could hide all items if you want to, but I mean, I like to leave items in because every once in a while I'll just pick a little extra piece or two up just to fill the inventory when I know I'm going to be going back soon. But if you wanted to, you could do like, let's just say, let's remove that condition, then we do hide, update, and now it's going to hide all items that aren't within this category. So then I also have to show we'd have to show the set items. We'd have to, we could say, see, we can't do that in one rule, so we have to add that, then we have to add another rule, show rarity, unique items, and this one is more of an endgame thing. This one's definitely not going to be happening early on, but you would also have to show exalted items. This is your other option for how you could set it up if you want to set it up to be closer to what your end game filter might look like. Then this is something that you might want to, how you might want to set it up. But yeah, so I hope this video kind of helped give you an idea of how the loot filter works and what you can do with it. Just take your time, explore it. It's these are just the more basic mods, which there's other mods like stuff that like I'll be going for later, damage while transformed, because I'm using lich form. So like there's other mods that you would end up adding in the late game, but these are just more the basic ones that you will for sure be seeing, because you won't be seeing some of those other mods till later in the game. Yeah, hope this helped, and I appreciate you watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.